These are the video notes for simplifying polynomial expressions. Starting with the first example on the left, we have the expression 6d minus 10d squared plus 3, and all of that minus the expression 5d squared plus 3d minus 4. And whenever I am subtracting a whole polynomial expression, I find it very helpful to distribute the negative to help me keep track of the positives and the negatives. So I'm going to imagine that there's a negative 1 that's being multiplied to all of the terms in this polynomial. So then if I use distributive property, negative 1 times 5d squared would be negative 5d squared. Negative 1 times positive 3d would be minus 3d. And then negative 1 times negative 4, a negative times a negative would make it positive, so I'd have plus 4 there. Then I'm going to write out the expression on the left. 6d minus 10d squared plus 3. And then from here, I'm going to group the like terms. So for like terms, I'm looking for terms that have the same variable to the same power. So I have a negative 10d squared here and a negative 5d squared later. And so I'm going to write those two right next to each other. So negative 10d squared minus 5d squared. Then I have a 6d, so positive 6d, and then a negative 3d, so minus 3d. And then last, I look for any terms without any variables, so I have a positive 3, so plus 3, and then a positive 4, so plus 4. Now I can combine like terms. Negative 10d squared minus 5d squared would be a total of negative 15d squared. Then positive 6d minus 3d, so 6 minus 3 is 3, so we have positive 3d. And then 3 plus 4 is 7, so plus 7. And this is my simplified expression. Let's look at the next example. Here we have two polynomials or two binomials being multiplied together. So there's two different ways that you can organize your information. I'll show you two different ways. One on the left is to make your own table. And the table, since there's two terms in each polynomial, it's going to be a 2 by 2 table. The first term that I have is 2x plus 3, so I can put that up top, so 2x plus 3. And then the next term is 3x minus 4. I'll put that on the left, 3x minus 4. If you mix these up, like if I put 3x minus 4 on the top and 2x plus 3 on the left, I'll get to the same answer. Then I multiply the term that's on the left with the term that's up top to get this first square. So 3x times 2x. 3 times 2 is 6. X times x is x squared. Next, I'm going to multiply 3x times this positive 3 to get the top right square. So 3 times 3 is 9, and then I still had an x. Then I'm going to multiply the bottom left, so I do the negative 4 times 2x. So negative 4 times 2 is negative 8, and there's also an x. Last is I'm going to do, for the bottom right square, I'm going to do negative 4 times positive 3. So 4 times 3 is 12, and a negative times a positive makes it negative. Then I'm going to group and combine like terms. So starting with the top left, I have 6x squared. Then I'm going to list the terms that I have with just x. So I have positive 9x, and I have negative 8x. And then the last term that I have is in the bottom right, and that's a negative 12. And then I can combine these two terms with x. So I'll have 6x squared, and then 9x minus 8x is positive 1x, so I'll just write that as plus x. And then last is minus 12. The other way I can simplify this same expression is by using the distributive property. So if I rewrite the expression 2x plus 3 times 3x minus 4, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw arrows pointing from the very first term to each of the two terms in the parentheses on the right, and I'm multiplying each of those pairs. So 2x times 3x would be 6x squared. 2x times negative 4 would be negative 8x. Then I'm going to draw arrows pointing from the second term in the first parentheses, which is this 3, pointing to each of the two terms in the right. And then I'm going to multiply those pairs as well. So 3 times 3x is positive 9x. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. Then I can combine like terms. So I still have 6x squared, negative 8x plus 9x, that can be combined as positive 1x, so just plus x, and then minus 12. Same answer that I got using the table.